What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Y'all Ready for Drinks, the podcast for adults who are still growing up. I'm your co-host, ItsArmanLopez, and Rich Associates ain't here today. He is out tending to a family emergency, so it's just going to be me leading the podcast with y'all. But don't worry, you're not going to be listening to just me ranting about some bullshit. I got two dope-ass guests here with me today. I got Sunni and King here in the building. Say what's up, y'all.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Nice to meet y'all. And by the way, I like your radio voice, Armin. It sounds really nice.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
You did lie, though. You said you got two dope. Yes, you got 2.5. This nigga King is 1.5 people.
Oh, that's fucked up, bro.
We starting off roasting.
Roasting in the first minute of the podcast already. That's a new record.
You invited me on here. This is your choice.
This is the kind of shit I hear every morning because these two are my gym buddies. We try to wake up at 5:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time we get there, but sometimes we just end up sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly Armin.
Hey.
Armin does it a lot.
I do it a couple times.
Yeah, me too.
Hey,
but typically I know when I'm going to miss, and I just like flake on them. But Armin will just sleep through the U-Up text.
Shit, man. I wake up and see the text, and then be like, fuck, I could sleep another 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes don't do nothing. You told me that.
Dude, yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's Filipino time, honestly, because, you know, I see 5:45 is the meetup time. That's more like 5:45. Less time to drive over there.
Ah, that's
CP2.
Filipino time? Okay, I see. All right.
Yeah, that's Filipino time.
So, colored people time. The one that me and Sunny be on is the podcast was supposed to start about an hour ago, and we started an hour late because.
What time is it now?
It's 5 minutes to 11.
Damn, we were supposed to start at 10.
Yeah. So.
Hey, man, it's cool. I kind of predicted that shit was going to happen.
So we have some, before we get into this race relations conversation, we got a lot of commonalities, similarities.
Well, yeah, exactly. But before we get to that, we're going to play the beat. Let that play out for a second while we get ready. So play the beat. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the episode. Welcome back to the episode of Y'all Ready for Drinks. So I got my two guests, Sunni and King, over here. And before we get started on the topic, figure we can let them talk about themselves to y'all. So I'm going to let them give out their personal MySpace blurbs. Sunni, why don't you go ahead first? Tell the people who you are.
My name's Sunni. I'm black. I like to work out. I have a job. I have 2 dogs. I'm friends with Armin.
That sound like a good Tinder profile, I guess. Especially that last one. I'm friends with Armin.
That's probably why I don't get no play on Tinder.
Oh, damn, Armin, you set yourself up for that.
Yeah. We're going to King right now. King.
Right. My name is King. That's my last name, but that's my nickname. So, and yeah, I've been friends with Armin for about 2 years or so. We've been gym buddies, and
you feel me?
Yeah, I'm looking for employment. So anybody, like real personable people,
you feel me?
Holla at me. And yeah,
you feel me?
Yeah, if anyone got a full-time position open, make sure to hit up
full-time. I got plenty of part-time jobs. I like them, but
let's get our boy Mr. King a good job. We trying to improve in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
That's the running joke from yesterday because I couldn't stop saying "feel me."
So the whole time we did a whole photo shoot with him yesterday.
Feel me?
Get him his good LinkedIn photo.
Yes. Shout out to Armin. His pictures look dope from what I've seen. I haven't gotten them all back yet, but
they're gonna come in today. I'm gonna edit them right right afterwards. But yeah, guys, thank you for coming in today. We're gonna. The reason I brought you guys in is because we talk about this a good amount of times during when we work out. Talk about Asian and Black relations.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Janae Aiko.
Ooh, she bad.
She is bad.
She Black and Asian.
Yeah, Asians. But yeah, man, I just wanted to bring you guys in to see, just to bring in what we talk about during those mornings onto the podcast, because we talk about some good shit over there. And I just want to get your guys' opinions on this whole race relations between Black and Asians, because it's a relationship that isn't really talked about much in society. It's usually Black people and white people, and that's kind of how I see it most of the time.
Yeah. Race in America tends to be black and white, and even though we have a big melting pot of so many cultures, because racism between black and white historically has been just crazy, other ethnicities like Asians and Latinos tend to fall to the wayside.
A little bit, yeah, and it's starting to come up a bit, especially I think I sent you guys that episode, the 5th episode of Yappy. We saw.
Yep.
One of the things we saw was Asian guy and a black girl. They a couple. They kind of ran into an ex-boyfriend, and some shit got said. I think, and I wanted to get your guys' reaction on that. Like, what do you guys think of the whole like fight and what they were talking about?
Just that interaction?
Yeah, because there was the point where the ex-boyfriend was talking about how like Asians are part of the problem as well against with racism against black people, and I see it goes both ways.
I'll let you go ahead first, Sonny.
I felt like he was one of those black people that are so woke they're too woke. Because he was putting all the blame on them, like everything is against us, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And while a lot of things he's saying is true, it's not a lot that dude could have done directly or that he did directly. He was pretty much judging him based off the fact that he may not do anything. And I understand the whole, if you're not part of the solution, you're a part of the problem.
Yeah.
But just the way he went about it was wrong. A lot of the stuff he was saying was right, but the way he went about it was very wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of the shit I see a lot on Twitter too. You know, like I remember I see a lot of people saying that if you're not black, you're not really a minority. You know, or like saying that Asians aren't people of color. If
you're not black, you're white.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've seen a lot, and it's kind of off-putting when you hear that.
I do think that. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry about that.
That's cool.
In terms of like race, I lost my train of thought again.
You feel me?
Cut all that out. You feel me?
You feel me?
Go ahead. I don't know. Somebody else say something.
Damn, can you suck at this?
Nah, it's all right. It's all right. It's kind of. I know I put a pretty hard topic on you guys because I wanted to hear what you guys said. So don't worry about it, King. You know.
All right. So just talk.
Because I want to piggyback off what you were saying, but I don't know what the hell you was about to say. You feel me?
Well, let's talk about the whole. Let's just kind of go just out of race relations in general. Then, what do you what's your guys' take on interracial interracial relationships and shit like that?
Love is love, and I think if you find someone that loves you for you and genuinely loves you and cares about you, that's a blessing, regardless of what their ethnicity is and regardless of what their So don't let love have all these restrictions on it.
I feel like that question was aimed for me.
Ooh. Okay. Tell it.
No, Sonny. All right.
I mean, I've only dated black women. I mean, so.
I was kind of looking at Sonny. I don't know your past relationships, King, because I've met you when you were single.
So, hey, that's it. Yeah.
He has been in a long-term relationship with Jill.
Who's Jill?
Look at your right hand.
Damn. She can't get no ethnic name?
Palmella.
Okay. All right.
Handrea.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Well,
cool.
this is a topic that I was curious about because I see a lot of the things I see on Twitter. There's a lot of racial tension on Twitter. It's one of the reasons.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to send me some of those pages. Mine's be all just bullshit.
Well, it's just like a lot of people I follow, they retweet just a lot of shit, and I see a lot of that where it's and we've had this talk before about how you were telling me that sometimes there's like a group of black women that get mad that black men tend to date other races.
Yeah. Oh, I've had to deal with that multiple times.
Yeah.
Right. What's that like? Because I kind of get it a little bit because Filipino families would like to have Filipino their kids be with other Filipino people.
Right.
That's it.
What's crazy is I can think of two different instances when this happened, and one of them I was actually dating a black chick.
Really?
But she was light skinned.
Okay.
Her dad was black and white, and her mom was black. Mm-hmm. So she was 3/4 black, 1/4 white. But I was out at Riverside for their spring splash, and I was with my homie and his girl who's black, and then their homegirl's also black.
Yeah.
And they were trying to press me about dating a mixed girl. They're like, "Oh, she's not black, she's mixed." I was like, "But she's still black. So you trying to make her less black now because she's not as dark as Wesley Snipes? Like, everybody got to be that dark to be fully black? Because my mom was black, my daddy's black, and I wouldn't consider myself dark. Same thing with King. He'd be considered light skinned even though both his parents are black. The second time that happened, the most annoying thing is when at the time I was dating a Mexican girl, and I was in Brazil. And me and my homie had met these chicks from LA, these 4 black chicks from LA, and they pressed me about not dating a black woman. I'm in Brazil on vacation, and I'm having to deal with 4 black chicks from LA pressing me about not having a black girlfriend who's not even there. And the crazier thing is, one of the chicks was married to a Mexican guy.
So
they're giving you
And
shit,
she was pressing me.
That's fucked up.
So it's a double standard.
Yeah,
It's a
for
double
real.
standard. And yeah, it got on topic because they was talking about one of their sons who was 16. He liked white girls or whatever. And my homie was like, hey, when I was 16, I liked Asian girls or something like that. And I ended up changing, blah, blah, blah. And that's how it got on topic. It was stupid. It's stupid.
Okay. Well, that actually brings me to another question because, there's the whole like light skin versus dark skin thing. What, like, if I kind of feel like it kind of, it counteracts like the whole moving forward thing because,
It can.
well, it's because I see it in a lot of different races also is that, light skin or dark skin, you're still the same culture.
Right.
But why battle against each other like that,
Because of the Lion King.
The Lion King?
How do you
Scar
figure?
was dark skinned. Mufasa was light skinned.
Right, that's right.
Scar hated on Mufasa. Ever since then, it's been light skin versus dark skin.
It don't go prior to 1990 something?
That's when it came in full effect,
Oh, okay. For sure.
in my opinion.
I hear you.
You really think it's just because of Lion King?
Facts.
All right.
You feel
That's
me?
okay. No, I hear you. I might say that this whole colorism thing has been going on for a long period of time, and it's not even in one culture. It's in a lot of cultures where lighter skinned people may get treated better than others.
Right.
But, according to Sunny, it's the Lion King. So
Man,
I don't want to.
I was clearly joking.
Nah, because because we have the same thing too. My
I
mom.
feel awkward, Armin. I got all this stuff. I'm not used to talking in the microphones.
No, don't worry about it.
But
This nigga about to have a panic attack.
yeah, I'm getting claustrophobic.
Calm down.
Don't worry, man. Just chill.
Shut
chill.
up.
We just hanging out, having one of our normal talks. We just ain't lifting right now. That's
My
all.
mom said she got some benefits from being light skinned back in the 60s.
Oh yeah, like what?
Like she wasn't as treated as bad as some of her other dark skinned classmates might have. She actually told me a situation where a bunch of her classmates had like left the class.
Yeah.
And the teacher was like, so my mom's name back then is Ashanti. And so
Oh, really?
yes.
Oh, wow.
My mom has changed her name like 3-4 times. I'm not even gonna get into that.
Oh, okay.
So she was trying to tell her like, oh, I really don't want you to leave class. You're a good student. And my mom was like, if I don't leave the class, they gonna see me after class. And so
Right.
she left with everybody else.
Ooh.
My mom almost got arrested on the bus because they thought she was Angela Davis.
Wait, really?
Yes,
Wow.
that is a real situation.
They
That's pretty
They
wild.
almost arrested her
They
because.
thought she was Angela Davis because
When
my
was
mom
this?
had to. This was back in the 60s.
Wow.
My mom had an afro just like Angela Davis, and so she was on the bus. And I guess the bus driver thought she was Angela Davis and reported to police and wouldn't let
damn.
her off the bus.
And she had to prove to them that she wasn't her.
Well, I guess the police got there and was like,
This
"Nigga,
ain't
this
her."
is clearly not Angela Davis. What the fuck?"
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
The stereotyping, so I like
my mom almost got sent to prison.
Man.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude. Because from my knowledge, I never seen like my family had to deal with racism like that. I've heard a couple comments here and there, but never
Yeah.
to the full extent that you guys have probably, like you and your families have probably felt.
Definitely.
And it's like, because I know there are Asian families out there that probably have felt racism, and there's this kind of ongoing oppression Olympics that
Yeah.
like just say one group has it worse than the other ones.
Right.
They say that kind of invalidates the other one's struggle.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It is stupid, and I feel like that's something that, especially as a group of minorities, we're trying to support each other.
Right.
That's something that we need to get rid of.
Right.
Everyone faces the same struggle, or not the same struggle, but their own form of struggle, and one isn't more like I'm not gonna say important or worse than the other, but it's just a struggle, and that it shouldn't be invalidated, right?
It touches back on that Yappy episode when he ran into the ex-boyfriend and dude was saying somebody ordered some takeout.
Yeah.
Eating dog food or blah, blah. And then the Asian guy was like, why are you allowed to say racist shit to me, but if I say racist shit to you, it'd be a problem.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that I kind of have to watch out for, too, because if I'm hanging out around people I kind of know, but not really, and they say, like, an Asian joke, like, I feel like sometimes I kind of have to take it, because if I say something back, then it's just going to be a problem, you know?
I mean, it doesn't help that society right now is very sensitive. I think you can get away with certain stuff if it's funny, like if there's But if you're just saying other stuff and it doesn't come off funny, then it's like, is it mean? So it's kind of similar to the Yappy episode. The guy was being malicious and being an asshole, but if he was just cracking jokes and it was kind of funny, well, okay, they might shoot shit. So
you also got to look at the time period we're in right now. This is probably the first time, at least, well, that we've been alive where we've been able to see, since we have a president who thinks the way he does and speaks the way he does. Racism has been around for forever.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was kind of dormant for a while as far as like being outspoken about it until we had the president that we have now. Yeah. Now everybody's like, okay, the president is saying it. We can more so be ourselves.
Yeah.
And it even brings to mind, it's like, because a lot of times if I found out somebody was a Trump supporter or whatever, I often felt like could I fuck with you? Right. I don't really know. And I, like, over time I've realized, like, you can be cool with someone who has different political opinions as long as they're not racist. Just because you support Trump or just because you voted for Trump or whatever doesn't mean you're racist necessarily. Right. As long as you can explain your reasoning why. And I'm not saying you got to explain shit to me, but if we're going to be cool, we're going to be friends, we at least need to be able to understand each other's points on that topic.
And I think that's a good way to look at it, because politics is something that's very sensitive. I feel like people want to be extremist about it. You're either one thing or the other. You can't have beliefs that kind of merge both of them together. And people get really offended if you don't share the same beliefs as them. Right. You know, even if you can't, like, you don't have to compromise on those beliefs, but meet on a common ground and understand each other. Something America can't really do right now. And it's frustrating because, politics is something that's pretty good to talk about, just share ideas and stuff. But nowadays you can't really share an idea without getting someone pissed off at you and putting you on Facebook or whatever.
Right. I most definitely think that we as people can be a lot more understanding of other people's beliefs. But, some people as well don't be so scary. Like, hey, if I believe that women should not be having abortions, for example, why do you think that? I might think the same or I might think the opposite. But having these conversations helps people to be able to, hey, I can still be friends with this person if we have a different belief. One thing I think that can be a problem is there's so many places that you can't talk about race or politics or religion, and so then people don't know how to talk about it. So having conversations and starting to have light conversations before you get into heavier stuff can, I think, help improve just relations between people who have different views.
I think you touched on something right there with the abortion thing. Because I'm not super one-sided or the other. Like, some people are pro-choice, some people are pro-life, and I understand from both parts. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people, I'm pro-choice because of this, blah, blah. You got raped. I should have a choice of not having that child. Oh, pro-life, you can't end a life, blah, blah, shit like that. But let's say I had somebody who was super duper pro-life and I was super duper pro-choice, and we had come to odds on something like that. But like, we were cool on everything else. Does that mean I can not be friends with this person because of how divided we are? Maybe because of different circumstances. Maybe, but
it shouldn't happen like that.
No.
And well, that's the thing that a lot of people are, I feel like, are misusing, is that in the past episode that's gonna go up pretty soon, we were talking. I was talking with my cousins about how they're lesbian, right? Okay. And they were saying that we were trying to get the idea out that your beliefs or your orientation or just one characteristic about you shouldn't be the one thing, like the sum of the one thing about you. Like, you're not just black, you're not just like straight or whatever. You are the sum of all your characteristics, all your beliefs. And just because one belief doesn't match with your friend's belief, you shouldn't like break off from each other just because of that, right?
But certain issues for some people are like very important. Like the biggest, these multitude of things make up who you are. No one person is like one thing. But for me, and I'm pretty sure Sunny would agree, being black is something that's like deep into who I am, my identity, and what I identify as. So if someone was very racist in a lot of different ways, I don't know if I'd want to interact with that person,
I understand that.
Versus the example that Sunny gave about abortion. Yeah, I might be able to continue to be friends with someone if we have different views on that topic.
So, well, okay, I get you on that. For me, it's kind of like, for me being Filipino, it is a part of me, but I'm pretty sure it's not as important to me as being black is important to you guys. For me, race has always been like a secondary thing. I'm usually more about like the city where I'm from. That's kind of been my thing. But like for me,
where are you from, Armin?
South San Francisco / Daly City. You know, that's Filipino town out there.
You feel me?
For all y'all don't know, 650. That's where it's at, baby. But anyways, there's some.
916.
You know, my cousin has been trying to tell me that I'm really from Sac, and just because he has a point to it, and I understand it. It's because I've grown up here more than I've been in SF, but I kind of still feel like that's where I'm from. That's where my base is.
But it's not about where you're from. It's about where you at.
That's what your belief is?
Yes.
I can kind of understand that, but
I could say where you from. But where you from may be like where you're born and like where your family's from. Yeah. Or like where you grew up, like where I got my first fight, first kiss, all that stuff. So, where's your first fight at, Armin?
Oh, dude, I ain't fought nobody.
Oh, all right, we're gonna change that.
Where was your first fight at, King?
It was out here. Yeah.
You win?
I got some licks in. You know.
That means he took the L.
I mean, you know, I'm a big dude. I grew up, you know, big partner. So when they get to moving around too much, I get tired and I get caught slipping. But I mean, culturally, and this is something I grew up in a little differently. Blacks, or maybe not blacks, maybe it's a hood thing or like a ghetto type thing. But it's just rough, a little rougher, and people, you got to build tough skin.
Them black people problems.
Okay, them black problems. So
we live wild. We live rough.
So, like, growing up, not having a whole bunch of cousins around and things like that, when I came around some friends that were rougher and just come in and start talking shit, it's like, oh, I don't know how to take it. So, getting into fights about that, and until I built tough skin and been able to talk shit back to them, you know, that sort of thing.
What did they say to you to piss you off?
Yeah, what was that?
You know, all type of mama jokes, all type of fat boys, all type of, you know, just everything that dig under your skin. Oh,
your gums?
Wait, the what?
His gums.
What did they say about your gums?
Call my nigga Gums Galore.
I've never really been called that other than by Sunny.
Gums galore, though?
Yeah, so. Yeah, and then the light skin jokes, right? I come in with a friend full of dark skins, and even though we may be joking, there may be a little tad bit of seriousness underneath that. Who brought the light skin over here? Take your ass in the back. You in the back now.
Called your ass a African.
A African, you feel me? So, cold business. Even though I think today there's a lot of, between African Americans, there's a lot of like jokey light skin jokes versus dark skin jokes. It does come from like a more serious place where light skins had better treatment than other dark skinned people. So
yeah, I get it.
That's facts.
Like in the Philippines, for us,
similar, right?
Yeah, similar, because for us, if you're darker skin, that means you're working out in the fields. You're poor. You're probably you're getting all that sun,
labor.
Yeah, and then for the rich class over there, they tend to they bleach their skins to become so white. You know, it's one of the things I don't really like about that. You know,
they did the Sammy Sosa.
Oh,
who taught you to hate your dark skin? No, I'm just quoting Malcolm X. Read his book, last year. It's pretty good. But
this nigga's just bringing up random shit.
I mean, no, what he was talking about was the whole light skin, dark skin thing within the Filipino community, right? And it's not just y'all, and it's not just blacks. It's around the world. Like Latinos have similar treatment that some light skins may get treated better. It's better, closer to white. And I don't know, white people have done a very good job of pitting other people against each other within their culture and within their own race, and then other races. So
that's actually I want to ask you guys about that. What are your personal experiences facing racism before? I don't think I've ever asked you guys that before.
I went to the store. I went to Eddie Bauer. This is probably my most recent experience with my ex-girlfriend, and I go to Eddie Bauer all the damn time.
What is Eddie Bauer?
It's a clothing store.
Oh, it's a clothing store.
But I usually go to the one in Folsom, but I was in Vacaville at the outlets this time. And I was just looking at shirts, and the lady said some simple shit that, it used to bother me, but it doesn't anymore. But my girlfriend who
it used to bother
me, but I get used to it. Yeah, my girlfriend who doesn't experience that, it pissed her off.
Right.
So, the lady walks up, it's a white lady. She's like, "Oh, can I help you?" I'm like, "Oh, no, we're just looking." She said, "Okay, the sale items are over here."
That's fucked. Yeah, I get you. Already thinking that you don't got any money.
And I just ignored it. I was like, whatever. My ex-girlfriend, who was Mexican, doesn't experience that all the time. She was pissed off.
Did she say anything?
Yes.
To the,
and we didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
She was like, "The fuck is your problem?" Blah blah. She didn't say what the fuck is your problem, but
yeah.
checked her on that level, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that." And in my head, I was like, "Yes, you were. Yes, you did."
Right.
Didn't buy nothing. We didn't believe him. Because I don't know, when I usually don't trip off of it, but being that she was so adamant about it, I didn't want to buy something from them. I didn't want to give them your money.
Yeah.
And then not only it's like, okay, y'all said that shit and I'm still paying y'all, then I got to hear it from my girl's mouth, like, why would you do that?
Right.
Shit like that. Because I know she wouldn't, roles reverse, she wouldn't have paid them shit.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And that's, I don't know, that's, first off, that's stupid customer service. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Why would you tell somebody that?
She probably didn't like think of it, in too much.
But that is a problem.
But
That is
the
a problem.
I agree.
Yeah. You should be thinking like, oh yeah, that's not a right thing to say. Like that's not only racist. That's also, that could be classist too. Like you probably someone that ain't got money, so you have no reason to be here. Just go to the sales item, like shit like that. Like
Right.
especially if you go to like those stores in like Vegas and the that rich mall area where all the
Those boutiques.
the boutiques with all the brands and shit. You walk in there just dressed normally, they're gonna look at you and be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I don't belong here. You don't belong
Right.
here. They don't even help them. They're gonna leave in like a few minutes, right?
Oh, I went to the Louis store and asked them what's the cheapest thing in here. This nigga pointed at the door. I was like, damn.
Damn.
I ain't even. That wasn't even racism. I was broke. So
That's that class
pretty
mentality
funny.
shit.
I was like, I can't even be mad. All right, I'm gonna hit him.
I mean, I've never really bought anything from the designers, like Italian boutiques and stores and things of that nature. But I did go with my homie Crummy, who is a white guy who's very, culturally inclined. And he went in this is Vegas, after he won a lot of money gambling and bought up a lot of stuff. They was loving him. So that's my one experience. It was cool with me because I was with him and he was spending money. And hey. So in a lot of ways, we talk about like the oppression and all the bad things about being black. And for me, one of the positives, or a couple of the positives, currently I'm a substitute teacher while I'm on my job hunt for another full-time position. Right. This one's part-time. But I feel like I can relate to the young people in a certain way that a lot of their other teachers that are probably white can't relate to.
You
right?
feel me?
They see African Americans, right, playing sports, basketball, and things of that nature, and music. So when they see a teacher, and I'm really chill, really flexible, and things of that nature, I think I can get them to open up and relax a lot easier. Being a substitute, it can be, kind of challenging. Another perk may be when I'm out. People just sometimes have I have long dreadlocks, want to come up and talk to me about my hair and things of that nature, or just be real cool, right? I had an experience with Sunny. We've traveled overseas, and he was like, have you met these people before? Why are everybody coming up and say what's up to you? Like, I don't know. It's just something about them.
That was the weirdest experience. It was like 30 people. What's up? I was like, when did you meet these? Did you meet these niggas on the plane? What the fuck is going on?
What?
Nah, I'm just saying what's up.
We seen that actually yesterday when we were eating at Mountain Mike's. So no, I just noticed this with you. You tend to just say what's up to people when they just passing by. There was a dude that came in. You said what's up. He was like, oh, what's up, man?
He did it because he was black.
I have.
What's up, brother?
I have been reading a lot more. I've been reading. Currently, I'm reading Huey P. Newton's Revolutionary Suicide, and I've been reading a couple other books because I feel like growing up, you don't read about other cultures. You read about just one history, and the history tends to have more white people and their experience.
White people.
So, like for example, as I've been maturing, I've been wanting to say what's up and be extra cool with other people of descendants of African or other darker skinned people, but cool to everybody. I'm cool to everybody. But sometimes you don't know people. You just keep on walking. But if I see someone and they look something like me, I might give them an extra nod or what's up, something like that nature. So Sonny probably saw me in that just mode where just like, hey, what's up? Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, good to see y'all. And they were just doing the exact same thing. So I shook 30 people's hands in one night, and it looked like I went to high school with all these people, but I never met them. So
that's still funny though. 30 people that just want to say what's up to King.
All in one night.
He might have been exaggerating. It might have been 20.
It was hella.
That's still hella people though.
We was in Bali, Indonesia.
Hey man,
We know nobody over there.
It's a whole new country, and
It's
everybody
vacation.
Everyone wants to say what's up to King.
If you'd have said what's up to 2 people, I'd have been confused. You said what's up to 30.
King's just popular, man.
But hey, had I tried to talk to 30 females, that'd have been okay. That's different.
Of course.
All right. So, yeah.
I
So
feel that.
that's what I'm on. You know, spreading love. You know, there's a lot of not love. I don't want to say hate, but you know, there's a lot of passiveness that people interact with. So just spreading the extra, hey, what's up? How y'all doing? Which we as people can do to everybody. You see, just man, we would have so many less problems if everybody just said a little what's up to everybody.
Just chilling, right?
Yeah, we're just chilling.
Positivity and optimism.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just an ideal world. It's hard to do that when everybody isn't on the same page.
It is.
You know,
With them crackers, I'm playing. That was good.
Crackers.
Shout out to all my white friends, because
Hey, for real.
I say a lot of shit, or at least have said a lot of shit
Yeah.
on social media, joking or serious about white people, and they be not taking it the wrong way. And I know damn well, had they said something about some black people, even if they were joking, I'd have felt some type of way about it. So I
Why
appreciate
black people
y'all.
got to be so damn loud? You turn like,
I'd have been like, what the fuck? Why you got to say that? Like,
yeah. So,
I appreciate y'all.
Hey, I appreciate y'all, because my Instagram picture right now, my profile pic is Malcolm X, and I could see that rubbing people the wrong way, because he was what's the word? What word am I looking for? How just out there he was about his beliefs, and confronting white America for all the past sins of their fathers' and things of that nature.
He did do that.
Yeah.
I feel like because I think a lot of people tend to think that like you're saying, your father's sins or your family's sins, that's your sins.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, and a lot of the times it isn't that person that's doing that. It's what maybe their family was taught that, but this person was raised differently. They lived in America. They were kind of exposed to everything. So it's kind of fucked up. Because one of the things that I'm a little confused by is that a lot of people are saying about reverse racism. It's like it's a pretty new topic that's coming up. Where
It's been around for a few years, but yeah, it's on the newish side.
Right, and how a lot of white Americans are feeling that they're starting to feel this reverse racism. And I think you told me this once, Sonny, that black people couldn't be racist.
They can't.
And a lot of people will take that the wrong way, because they're not racism involves more of a
Oppression
and structure. Like
correct.
That's why
Black people can be prejudiced.
Okay.
They can't be racist.
Okay.
Right. And because when you first told me that, I kind of took it a different way too, because I was like, wait a minute, and then you explained it to me, and I understood it, because there was a whole structure that we were all taught about back in the during the civil rights era, about how black people couldn't do specific things like white Americans could.
Right.
We don't have the power or the funds to be able to oppress another race the way white people do, which is why we can't be racist. Now, we can be prejudiced, we can be stereotypical, we can be judgmental, we can feel a certain type of way, but we can't bring another race down.
Now, do you mean, when you say bring another race down, are you talking about like as in society?
Institutionalized racism.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the same way that a lot of blacks tend to find themselves in the criminal justice system, that keeps them like not being able to make money or not being able to elevate in that whole in this system, right? And that there's other ways. For example, black students tend to get suspended more than white students, and
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, honestly.
I think unemployment rates, even with blacks with degrees, unemployment rates are higher than their white counterparts. And of course, I'm talking black and white because, like, so many times when I read articles and statistics, that's what they're saying. Like, oh, black versus white, they don't throw in all the different factors and ethnicities and groups of people, right? Because you're just talking about white and black in America, you're missing half of the population, at least half.
Well, a good amount, and that's actually something that I want to ask you, because you guys would joke with me about, like, if you ain't black, you're white, right? And I could see that a lot of people would be thrown off by that, especially if Asian, Mexican, Indian, whatever, you know. And I want to get like an understanding of that, you know.
I'll go with that one.
Okay.
That came about, at least when I first heard it, from my auntie Tonette, shout out. And it kind of came into that whole, when you're like, we're in teenagers and dating and things of that nature, and kind of similar to what you said, my parents, I'm sure Sonny's parents, would prefer for him to date someone of his same race, right? But being young men and being handsome young men, you want to, talk and flirt to everybody, and whatever. So the whole if she's not black or if you're not black, you're white kind of came from, hey, if you don't bring a black girl home, she's white. Right?
Oh, okay.
And I don't want you dating a white girl. So that's kind of where that statement came from. So we'll say it jokingly, when we're lifting or things like that.
Right.
But yeah.
And what would you say to where you like say you had someone here that didn't understand the context of that? How would you explain to them like like because like minorities we want to stick together, we want to support each other, but then when someone that doesn't really know the context of that saying hears that, of course they're gonna feel a certain way about it.
Yeah.
And how would you guys explain that to them? Like it's because because I kind of get it. You want to support within your own race, but then if you like the races should support each other.
I think it can come down to kind of a lost my train of thought, but
You feel me?
I think a lot of times it feels like it's us against everybody else, and I'm sure other people feel that same type of way.
Yeah.
I'm sure like Muslims feel like, man, other people don't get us, right? So we stick together in certain ways, and I'm sure a lot of cultures feel that way. So if it's not, it's us against everybody type of mentality at times. When it comes to like oppression, reading history, or things of that nature, whereas I might say but blacks have so many obstacles to overcome. It can feel like, hey, if it's us against the world, so if they're not black, then they're white. So sometimes, I don't know, maybe we're reading deeper into it, but like I said, it came from a joke from my auntie who said, if she's not black, she's white. So if she can't use your comb, don't bring her home.
You can use, I'll put it in a new age example. How did Black Lives Matter come about? The social injustice that black people were receiving from cops and the prison systems, as far as not getting fair shakes, not getting fair opportunities, and being executed by police. Obviously, this has happened to other races before, but more prevalent against black people. And it was at a time when it was being seen more and more.
Yeah.
And so
social media, cell
Right.
phones.
Yeah.
So being that was more often happening to black people, they started this movement saying that Black Lives matter just as much as every other life, since you're clearly
Right.
not making our lives seem to matter as much as other people's. And so that whenever you're on the side of where you want change, you either have to be on one side or the other. You can't be in the middle like, oh, I understand both sides. No, you have to be so much on one side.
Yeah.
And
Why
so-
can't someone be in the middle?
Because when something's in the middle and you try to compromise something, there never comes change.
Kind of feels
'Cause
like
you
you're
try to-
half-assing it, right?
Yeah, you're kind of like, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Come together. No, that doesn't create change. The Million Man March didn't come together because people were agreeing. They came together because or they were trying to compromise. They came together because a million people came together and was like, you know what, dude, we need to make a change. This needs to happen. Blah blah blah. And the same one is this. So you got all these black people that, for the most part, are agreeing Black lives do matter. And then you got other people who are saying, well, all lives matter. Well,
Right.
what do you mean all lives matter? We're saying every life matters. So the only difference in that those phrases are the word black. So
Yeah.
you're just saying that black does. So but everybody's life isn't at stake. So being that black people are all on this side, we're looking at other races: white, Asian, Mexican, Indian, Jewish, whatever. We're looking at you guys to agree with us as well. Like, you know what? Black lives do matter because
Yeah.
all lives do matter because everybody's
Right.
life matters. And so if you're Asian and you're not on that side, you're like, oh, whatever, they're just tripping because they're black. Then it's like, okay, now we're feeling like, okay, if you're not black, you're white. Because the white people are the ones that, for the most part, started the social injustice because America was breeded off making white people able to win.
Right. Right.
And so that
Okay,
is
I
why
get
it's
that.
if you're not black, you're white.
Okay, because the whole Black Lives Matter movement, I kind of got that was my first reaction to it because it seems like the movement was trying to only single out that that if you're Black lives were the only ones that matter. But then the context of it is that no, we're just letting you guys know that we feel like we're not mattering to everybody else right now.
Correct.
Right, and that makes sense. That in that context, other races should support that because all lives do matter. And I guess it is that mob mentality and not thinking correctly, trying to comprehend the whole context of the situation, kind of messes up the whole idea behind the movement, right?
This is kind of on topic, but this is random. I had this analogy that I thought of the other day. So for all the people that aren't aware, we're in Northern California. Football fans, for the most part, we're 49ers and Raider fans.
Yep.
And it's a battle of the Bay. It's been a battle of the Bay, and 49ers always hated 49er fans always hated Raider fans. Raider fans always hated 49er fans.
Yep.
But then I broke it down. I'm like, okay, with every other topic, the Bay is always in unity. With every single other topic.
That's true.
Except
Music
for this
and
one.
all type of
Yeah, that's true.
Except for this one. And the 49ers in the NFC, Raiders in the AFC, they don't play each other at all. They're not in the same division.
Right.
The 49ers' success doesn't affect the Raiders' success.
That's true.
Unless they both make the Super Bowl, which has never happened.
Right.
So there's, outside of the one time they play every 4 years, there's no real reason for the two teams to hate each other.
But yet they still.
And now that the Raiders are moving to Las Vegas, there's no connection at all between the Raiders and the 49ers.
That's true.
But
will the hate remain? Has the hate been there so long, and the discomfort and people disagreeing and getting into arguments, has it been there that long that when a Niner fan sees a Raider fan, even though the Raiders are no longer in the Bay Area, will there still be,
That's exactly
conflict?
what racism is.
Oh, just because it's always been there.
Because you were raised, I'm a 49er fan. We hate the Raiders. Why?
Right.
We just do.
It's just what it is.
It's just what it is.
Right.
Same thing. You're a white kid. You're raised. We don't like black people. Why? We just don't. And then you get to this age, you're like, you really think about it, like, they ain't never did nothing to me. We never had no problem. He's actually a cool dude. Why do I hate this person? Because my parents told me to. Because my brothers told me to. Stuff like that.
Well, yeah, racism it's not you're not born with it.
Right.
It's
It's
taught.
taught.
It's
Right.
taught.
Yeah. How do you become a Niner fan or a Raider fan?
You're taught it. You're
You're either taught it or you see one thing and you like it and you're just like, I'm going for that.
yeah, and then the culture already there is to hate the other one.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's actually a really good analogy about it, because
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely if you're one side, you have to hate the other one, just because just how it is.
Yeah.
And that's stupid, honestly.
But then you'll get other things that kind of reaffirm why you don't like these people, right? If you're walking around with your Niner jersey or your Raider jersey and someone from the opposite team says something, like, see, that's why we don't like them, right?
Well, yeah,
Because their fans are a certain way. First of all, every team's fans are like that.
Yep.
Everybody's team's fans talk too much shit. If we lived in New York, we'd probably think the Jets fans talk too much shit or the Buffalo Bills fans talk too much shit.
Yep.
It's just about where you are.
Yep.
right.
Fan is short for fanatic.
Well, it's also outside of the whole sports thing and back with racism is that one bad experience with a particular race, whatever the race that may be, it could shape your whole molding about it, especially depending on how young you were when it
That
happened.
makes sense.
Right.
That's true.
You may have one bad experience with an Asian person or a black person,
Right.
and then it molds your whole viewing of them. Like, oh yeah, this is what's always going to happen to me if I hang out or see this person.
Yeah, and there's bad eggs in every race, and that's
exactly.
that's the one thing. Like, like from the white friends I have and the white people that I know, they hate racist white people more than black people.
Yeah.
Because it
Right.
makes them look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's honestly how I feel too. Like when I see a bunch of Asian people like saying shit about black people, I'm like, yo, dude, come on, we're supposed to be together. And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and it's stupid. It's stupid, and I understand how like white people could feel the same way, because they feel the hit of that a lot, because a lot of minorities are already gonna think that a white person's automatically racist.
All the problems that we have right now are because them white folk over there that made the society the way it is, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel for my white friends too, because I have a friend that there's some shit that he'll say, and I'm like, yo, man, you gotta kind of be careful around like when you say shit like that. But he's not saying it out of malice. That's just what he's saying. Mm-hmm. I'm like, but you gotta think about that. And then if I could see like my friends actually hate, if they were to meet him and then kind of see that, they would automatically hate him about it. But it's not coming out of malice or anything. It's just kind of how he was raised.
You got to understand there's got a comfort level with like friendships versus people you don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Certain things you can get away with doing, certain things you can get away with saying.
That's true.
Well, the whole N-word thing, that was something that's just maybe 10 years ago everybody was saying it. I said it when I was younger, and then it was kind of like
Northern California, or California in general, is different than other parts of the world as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Sacramento specifically too. It's
possibly.
because I know a lot of people in LA. Well, at least the people I know in LA, they don't really say it as much.
Yeah.
Or like my old friends in the Bay Area, when I go visit them before when I was younger, and I was saying that a good amount is a good part of my vocabulary.
Yeah.
They were like, "What the fuck? Why are you saying that?" I was like, "Oh, you know, that's kind. I was kind of raised around that when I came to Sac."
Yeah, the N word is in a lot of ways right now in Sacramento is like a cuss word. It's like a filler word. Doesn't have a whole lot of meaning.
It's almost like calling, like for me, I used to say it just because it's like you're my bro or my dude or whatever. You know, it's like the homie. But then it's I kind of realized that that's not the word I should be using personally.
In a lot of ways, I personally believe that nobody should say it.
Yeah.
Because people try to make so many rules and guidelines on who can say the N word and who cannot and why and things of that nature. And then you have music and then you have like social media that uses that word as a general term for men or a general term for black people or just a general term for bro, like you said, friends or bros and things
it can mean men, it can mean black people, it can mean every nigga ever.
Yeah.
It could mean ghetto black people. It can mean a lot of different things.
Right.
You got to understand the context of whatever sentence they're saying.
That's true.
Right. And like I personally don't use it anymore, but sometimes it'll slip, you know. And I tried my best not to say it just because I feel like it isn't. There's no reason for me to use it.
Right.
The older I've gotten, the more it's bothered me when non-black people say it.
Yeah. It's like, why would you say it? Just because you're getting older, you're kind of understanding more
older and more understanding. And I even say that I need to say it less. I'm a nigga that says nigga all the time, and because I used to be like, it used to be in the sense that if I'm gonna say it around you, how I'm gonna expect you not to say it around me,
right?
Per se. But then the older I got, I'm like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the older I got too, that's when I started saying it less. Also, to the point where I do my like. I would only, before I used to say it only around people I was comfortable with, that, like, you know, people that I didn't think would take offense to it.
Right.
But now I'm just trying to avoid using it at all times, you know.
How do you think it came about that other ethnicities became comfortable saying nigga around just all, you know?
I think it's just because of, you know, for our generation, we're such a hip hop and rap, like we were in that culture, and all the songs, you know,
a lot of
them said it.
Yeah.
You know, and probably when someone outside of African American said it, they were just singing the lyrics, and then they just said it without even thinking it, and then, you know, they didn't hear anybody get mad at them and shit, so they were like, I guess I'll just keep saying it.
It didn't come from a angry, mean place. Or,
my experience, that's kind of how it was.
Right.
I can't speak for everybody else, you know.
I think it kind of came in just like slang, kind of.
Yeah. You know, it became another slang word almost, and a lot of people don't know. They didn't really think about the history of it. So.
Yeah, which is depressing.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it up, Armin.
Hey, I told you what we were going to be talking about this episode.
Yeah, you did. You gave us a heads up. Hey, let's invite the black people over so we can talk about race relations. No, I'm picking with you, Armin.
I mean, that kind of was the thought about it. Nah, it was because I feel like for me, because I don't really have that many black friends, you know.
I hear you.
And it's always something that I want to learn more about, so I could be behind the movements and stuff, because I want to support progressive movements, you know.
For sure.
And
I think I had a lot more friends that of different races when I was growing up, going to school and things of that nature. As I've gotten older, it's like, hey, my friends are my friends. My network is my network. And I mean, I have friends from work, but that's a little different because I don't always see them outside of work.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, just a work homie. But people that I see on a consistent basis outside of school or outside of work, you know, is, yeah.
I think I have, and y'all can attest to this, I have a very diverse group of friends.
You just have hella friends. You just know hella people.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah. You just know hella people.
You'd think I'd have way more black friends than I do, given how outspoken I am about black issues. But I mean, I'd say like 50% of my friends are black, and then all the other ones are of mixed race.
Cool. But no, because it helps keep you level if you can start, because it's easy to slip down one way and just become extra, like if they're not black, they're white, and if, you know, making prejudice statements. But if you consistently have cool people around you, it keeps you, or it can keep you level, can keep you humble and all that stuff.
Right.
I want to ask
So
you
Sonny
guys,
might go off the deep end if he starts cutting off some of his white friends. You know, fuck them crackers over there.
Become a black militant.
Yeah, black militant wearing all leather.
I'll be like Malcolm X in that one photo where the nigga had the suit on. He had the fucking chopper.
The chopper. Or like Huey P sitting down in that chair with the gun and yeah. So yeah.
well, I wanted to ask you guys something about this because this is becoming pretty, like a lot more, brought more to my attention is that the relationship between Asians and black people, I feel like it's, I haven't heard much about it, just like we were talking about earlier, it's not really portrayed in the media, whether it's a romantic relationship or just the race relations in general. One of the things that has been showing up lately is that a lot of Asians, especially like maybe East Asians like Chinese, Japanese, they're kind of been attested that they have white privilege now. And I feel like that's been something that's kind of going on because just because Asians in history have kind of been a little bit more successful financially. And
the
now,
model minority.
Yeah, the whole model minority shit.
Yeah.
And I feel it kind of irritates me. It's the whole you're not a person of color kind of thing. And I just want to see what you guys take on that because, you know, there's racism in each race, but I feel like just this relationship between the two subsets of race just haven't been talked about that often, just because it's not really in the forefront anymore or ever been.
Well, I think the success things comes from something different. So, like I said before, America was meant for white people to prosper. So white people can pretty much do anything they want, and they can still find ways to prosper. Me and King had to go to college, get a degree and all that.
Just
and
to be
we
broke.
got friends, or I got friends. I'm not trying to call them out on this, but didn't go to college at all, make just as much money as me.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Asians, from what I've seen, for a lot of times, they like to keep the money within.
Yeah.
They build up Asian businesses, do all that stuff. And black people try to do that too.
Yeah,
The only difference between black people and Asian people in that aspect is it's not meant to keep Asian people down. It's meant to keep black people down. So Asians, as long as they're working within each other, they can prosper together. Black people can't always do this. Black people can do everything right and try to still prosper and still not succeed. And I think that's where maybe some of the resentment I might go for Asians, like, oh, okay, they're basically white, blah, blah. Where in a sense, it's like, no, they're not fucking with the white people. They're fucking with each other. And being that they're doing it like that, they can prosper. Unfortunately, black people don't always get that same benefit. I'm not saying they can't, because there's a lot of black people who prosper and can do their own thing. Like I said, my sister owns a weed dispensary, crystalnugs.com, if you like to get high. Anyway, so she's been able to see that and prosper and do her own thing, but not all black people can.
Right.
And I feel like being that they see Asian people can do it, because we go to Elder Creek, Lemon Hill, we see all the Asians got the entire block.
Yeah.
And they keep it within each other.
Yeah. Hire other
Black people
employees.
some black people are kind of resentful of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like they can do it, we wish we could, but we can't. And it's not the Asian people's fault.
So that's just where the resentment comes from.
That might
like
be where the resentment
a
comes from.
simplified answer for that.
Yeah.
Okay. I can understand the context of that. And
So there's a lot of ways that blacks can continue to help themselves prosper. Supporting one another would help. Managing their money and finances and things of that nature. Like, there's so many ways that blacks are held down by structural like forms that we shouldn't be holding ourselves back. Right, and holding ourselves back is splurging on stuff that's not gonna bring a return. Right, just spending money to spend it versus spending it to
build something.
Yeah, to build something. Things like that.
Something that has a return on investment.
Right.
I get you.
So like, why get in your own way when you have also so many other obstacles in your way?
I splurge sometimes, so I can't even.
I
Honestly, me too. Oh, one of the things that I wanted to bring up was that, so in the Yappy episode, like we were talking about, it was an Asian guy and a black girl for a couple, but the girl was black and Japanese. And you were talking about how in the episode, when they met the dude's friends, they're all Asian, and there was a one white guy. They only saw her as black.
Correct.
Right, and it was just because, why is that? Why didn't they really recognize that she's half Japanese, especially the fact that she kind of knew a lot of stuff that they were talking about in Asian culture. You were saying mostly it's because of what you thought it was just the skin complexion.
That's the first thought. The skin complexion. She's a little darker than they are. Her hair is a little curlier than they are. She might have a different tone of voice as far as like slang because she hangs out with black people. And at first I thought that maybe it's because she did hang out with mostly black people, not Asians, but they didn't know that about her.
Right.
I didn't realize that until after I watched that. I was like, okay, they don't know who she hangs out with. This is their first time meeting her. So I really, like, off the top of my head, I can't really think why they'd think that outside of her complexion and her skin tone and the fact that they don't really know her.
Yeah, it is kind of it kind of made me wonder about that too, because she was. It also because in the first few episodes she says that she wasn't really in touch with her Japanese side,
right?
Which kind of shows that she kind of sees herself more as black instead of Japanese. But then you see in the episode she knew a good amount of like Asian culture,
right?
So it's kind of like, oh, okay, how come maybe they just didn't know that she's half Japanese, even though and that she may have just been a black person that just knew Asian culture, maybe.
Yeah.
That might have been why.
They even questioned her, like, oh, you like K-pop? Yeah.
Right. And well, I mean, the thing is they did know because the dude told them that she's half Japanese. So it is kind of, it's confusing, but it's the whole in-between thing because I feel like a lot of interrace kids or just people in general, they face this, the mixed identity fight because
you got to identify with one or the other.
Right. You can't be both. Yeah. And it's tough on them. It's tough on them because.
But in a lot of ways, they have an advantage because they may get and understand the culture, one culture, and the other culture, and they can kind of, in a lot of ways,
flip flop between the two.
Yeah, they can navigate. If she's around a lot of Japanese people, she may know some of the language, she may know a lot of the culture, and other things, and other parts of Asian culture that I just living my day-to-day life may not know that same information. Right. I think culture is big. Like language is huge.
Yeah.
Tied with culture. Right. If I knew my Spanish is very limited, but I believe that if I was to know Spanish and go around Spanish-speaking people, they would see me in a different light than if I'm talking to them like how I'm normally talking in English and with my limited background and culture of Latin people. Yeah.
I think it could also be a negative too, though, because because at least when they're kids, because kids are assholes.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, if you come out in like, I don't know if you ever experienced this, King, because you're light skinned. So if you come out, all the black people are looking at you like, oh, you're light skinned, you're not black enough.
Right.
And all the white people are like, yeah, but your hair's still curly. You're not white enough either. And so you kind of in this own zone where it's like, all right, I don't know which one I fit in because the black people think I'm too white to be black and the white people think I'm too black to be white.
It's fucked up, really.
Yeah, you kind of in that middle.
Yeah, because
I've never experienced that personally. I didn't mean to cut you off, Armin.
Oh, it's fine.
In my experience, blacks have been very like understanding and open to a lot of people. Like, hey, it's all good. And in a lot of way, maybe it comes from like years back, slavery and all that type of thing. You have a mixed race kid, the kid's staying with y'all. It's not going to go with the white family,
right?
Yeah. But I've never really, other than apart from jokes, being around my friends that are dark skinned, may crack some jokes, but it's all love. But some people do have that whole, they don't know where to blend and they don't know where to fit. They don't know where they're comfortable.
Like I brought up in the topic earlier about the girl I was dating who was light skinned and the black girls told the truth. They don't see her as black. They see her as mixed.
Yeah.
And these were college girls. This wasn't in elementary school. These were college girls that said they felt this way.
Well, women have different issues as well. They have all these medias.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that.
Let me get my thoughts out and then,
piss off the female viewers.
They're
but
about to come
there's so many. It's all love. I love everybody. But there's so many like different images that comes out that pretty is this way, right?
Yeah,
and that pretty typically is lighter skin, straighter hair.
That's true.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
They can build up a little bit of resentment and feelings and just about women that are not dark skinned if they have darker skin. So they may have been coming for Sunny because, hey, why don't you have someone on your arm that's dark skin complexion?
The reason, and I understand the reason, is because black women are seen black women Like, they get the bullshit of being black, and they get the bullshit of being women.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're looked down upon the most.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to that, they look for the black man, the one who can
Support them.
actually
Help.
empathize with how they're feeling, to support them and to stand by them. And so if they see you and you're with a woman who doesn't go through the same things, not only that we go through, that you go through,
Right.
they feel some type of way about it.
Right.
The hypocritical part comes in when you see the black woman that's with a non-black man,
Yeah.
And
and they support that, but they don't support the other one. That's when the hypocrisy comes in.
Why do you think that happens? I think they just behave.
Because people like stuff that benefits them.
Yeah, that's true.
I was watching twerk videos, my bad.
We're gonna keep that in there. Sonny just watching twerk videos
Hey,
while we were taking a small break. Yeah, guys. Thank you for coming on to this, coming on to the podcast. You know, appreciate you guys coming in, giving me feedback, and you know, for just supporting us. You know, it's appreciate that a lot. And is there anything y'all want to shout out? You know, Instagram or businesses or shit like that? Any projects or whatever y'all into? You know.
I'll say thanks for having us on, Armin. I was noticing your goals that you have written down on in your room. That's pretty dope.
Thanks, man.
And yeah, that's about it. I don't have any shout outs.
Where can the people find you, King?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram, you know, Mr. King, spelled all the way out, you know.
Mister?
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr. with
feel
an
me?
H, and there's an underscore at the end. You can add me on there, you know, or, you know, yeah. So, yeah.
For sure. Sonny?
You can follow me at Sundiata Gains. That is SUNDIATA GAINZ. That is on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at HustleMan22. That's where I talk most of my shit. If y'all like weed, crystalnugs.com. That is my sister's weed dispensary. We deliver. Come get high with us.
Wait, they deliver?
Yeah, we deliver.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, order. I think you gotta
How much
order at
is
least.
the-
I think
yeah.
you gotta order at least $50 worth of stuff
Oh, okay.
in order to deliver. I think the delivery fee is like $10, but I don't know. Go on there, crystalnugs.com. See what it's about. Also, shout out fine ass Instagram girl of the week goes to dreaming of _you. Make sure y'all follow her, like her pictures, all that. La la la.
Is that
She bad like that? Is that who the twerking videos you were watching?
Nah, that's the homegirl.
Oh.
Wait, that's the homegirl.
That's the homegirl.
Oh, for real? Yeah. Oh shit! I thought that was your. Thought that was
No.
I mean,
I said
nah, because
fine ass Instagram girl of the week. Dreaming of _you. Go follow her, give her a shout out, like her pictures, tell her I sent you there.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Y'all Ready for Drinks. We are on every Friday for the next few months. We are going to be on what's it called? Our Instagram at Y'all Ready for Drinks. If you ain't following us there already. We are also on YouTube now, so you guys can see us talking. You can check out who Sunni and King are right there. And also, if y'all want to send us a topic or, you know, anything you might want to talk to us about, you can hit us up on DMs on Instagram or hit us on our email at y'allreadyfordrinks@gmail.com. We'll see you guys next Friday. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.
Big trust. You feel me?
Oh, peace and love, everybody. Have a good week. My bad. I thought I was done
Yeah.
talking.
No, it looked like you were going to say something, so that's why I stayed quiet.
You ain't
But
got no etiquette.
This is my first time really talking to a microphone. You
It's
feel
gonna be
me?
your last time.
nah,
bro.
you did.
I
Just,
know I got dreadlocks, but I don't rap or nothing like that. You feel me? Like, ooh.
$.
King. You did just fine.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in. See you guys later. See ya.